Hey there, I'm Lee Ullman here with some big news from the National Young Farmers Coalition. We're partnering with Heritage Radio Network on a special season of The Farm Report. It's all about what's happening with the Farm Bill and how it impacts farmers and eaters.
I am growing diversified vegetables on land that's been in our family for 150 years.
And so with the pandemic, gentrification, property values going up, we had to sell the land and we lost it.
Join us as we uncover the untold stories behind this massive piece of legislation that shapes how we grow our food, what we eat, and so much more.
The problems we have had, those are things that come from earlier Farm Bill and USDA policy, right? Like Earl Butz, get big or get out.
You know, it's my responsibility to know not only what I'm eating, but then like how that all came to be. And realize like, wow, like this piece of legislation, all this money, like it's technically something that I support as a taxpayer.
While Congress debates the next Farm Bill, this is not just an invitation to listen. It's a call to action. Be part of the conversation. Subscribe to the Farm Report on Heritage Radio Network, wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey everyone, you're listening to Item 13, a bi-weekly podcast covering everything African food, and I'm your host, Yom Tego. Every other week, we'll delve into the world of African food, chefs, curators, and bloggers. I hope you enjoy it. Hi everyone, we made it. Thank you for sticking with me for another season of Item 13. I'm so grateful that you tune in week after week to hear from the incredible African food entrepreneurs and others in the space that I'm honored to chat with in this forum. In this episode, I'll share thoughts on the season's interviews, plans for the coming year, and a few big announcements. If you follow us on social media, you should already know what's up. But that's my not so subtle way of asking you to please follow us on social Essence 13 accounts and Item 13 accounts. So looking back on the season, I think the one recurring theme has been diversity. So featured a lot more people from outside of West Africa, tackled a variety of different business models, different types of entrepreneurs, including full-time entrepreneurs, side hustlers, caterers and chefs, and subjects related to the ecosystem generally that could be beneficial to food entrepreneurs, including mental health awareness, event management, and the role of good PR for a food business. This was also the first time that I recorded all episodes of the season remotely using primarily Skype. I had some issues with editing and sound because of that, I think, and so I'm considering outsourcing the editing of the show to clean it up a little bit, but that's still something I'm thinking about, probably just more so for my peace of mind than anything else. Okay, so now to the big announcements. Announcement number 1. I will be speaking at the first ever Afros and Audio Podcast Festival for Black podcast creators and professionals in Brooklyn this summer. So one of my goals for this year, also like I put it up on my vision board and all of that, was to host a live podcast event or just to speak more, I guess, in my capacity as the podcast host. But just given the kind of a really rough start to the year and other personal plans, I don't think it's likely to happen at this point, which is why I'm so incredibly grateful for this opportunity to share my thoughts on how we can connect the diaspora through the storytelling medium of podcasts. I understand there'll also be skill building workshops for people that are thinking about becoming podcast creators. There'll be networking opportunities and food and drink, of course. So if you live in and around the New York area, please come and support, say hi. I would love to meet some of our listeners in person. And tickets are now on sale at afrosandaudios.com. I'll put a link in the show notes so that you can get to that quite easily. Announcement number 2, which is the biggest thing I'm working on this year, going on a worldwide tour. I'm so excited for this. I've been working with Chef Binta over the last few months to put together a tour of epic proportions. We're going to be telling the African food story, which has always been a strong passion of mine. And our goal with this tour really is to shine a spotlight on Fulani cuisine in particular and highlight that the African food story has nuance. We're not just about jollof. There's nuance of flavors, of techniques, of practices that span diverse regions, countries, cities, and even homes, right? And so we'll be featuring Fulani cuisine and culture in a variety of different dining formats in 8 cities around the world. These will be mostly intimate sessions, meaning that we will have limited ticket sales for each event. So make sure to sign up on our landing page, thetasteoffutajalon.com. I'll also put that link in the show notes to get up-to-date news on the tour and the scoop on when early bird tickets become available in your city. The tour kicks off this June. You can also listen to Chef Binta's story in season 1. I think it's episode 6. But you can scroll through and find Chef Binta's story there. So excited for this, and I hope that people, sort of get to participate, engage with us on this sort of exciting adventure we're going on. Announcement number 3, I don't know if this is an announcement, but yeah, I guess it's sort of a fact statement. Item 13, the podcast turns 1 year old a week from now, actually. No, I take that back. That was May 15th. So a month from now, exactly a month from now, May 15th. And it's incredible to me that this has been going on for 1 year. There have been so many times I've wanted to quit, but I've kept going because of all of our loyal listeners. I want to give a special shout out this time to my friend Kwabna, who I'm very sure listens to every single podcast episode when it drops, reaches out to encourage all the time, introduces me to people as a podcast host, which is weird to me, but it's also, I guess, low-key one of the reasons why this thing is still going. So as of today, we're at over 3,500 ultimate downloads, which can seem small in the grand scheme of things, but it's still quite outstanding to me. I so appreciate everyone who listens and also who shares with others. Thank you to all of our guests whose perspectives and insights inspire me to continue to do the work of this podcast. And finally, a question that I've already been getting: when will season 3 launch? Most likely in September or October. I think you should stay connected with us on social media to find out when we launch. Or if you're subscribed, it will just drop in your feed when it drops in your feed. I've been giving some thought to the format and the content, and I think that there will be some changes to that in season 3. But with everything we have going on with the tour and just some personal life changes, which I will probably share at some point, I just don't have the capacity to get back into the podcast until later this year. So thank you so much. Thank you, all of you, for listening. I look forward to meeting some of you in person in New York for the Afros and Audio Podcast Festival, or wherever the Taste of Futa Jalon tour takes us. Stay tuned, and thank you again. Thank you so much. We'll see you next season.